Okay, this is the VEVOR fluid extractor. It's pretty heavy. This plastic does not flex. So you have a couple of ways you can use this. There is a hand pump if you want to work that hard. That is an option you have. You can use pneumatics if you hook it up to an air compressor. The top is sealed with bolts, so when you need to drain it, you can open this port here, hang it upside down, and you've got a hook that you can hang it from. And it comes with several different hoods. Spare O-rings, put those somewhere safe. If you want to use this, you got to pick the handle up, give it a rotation to get it out of your way. Free up that port so then you can load your tube on. It's got a twist lock connection, makes it airtight. So this is ready to be used. And in what situation would we want to use something like this? I'll show you. Now, changing out the gearbox fluids on these is a little tricky because they don't give you a drain hole. You only have a fill and a level. And a while back I saw someone take their implement and flip it upside down and do an oil change. That's a little ridiculous. I mean, at least if you could spend about $14, you could get a manual extractor like this and not have to try to flip this thing over. Let's try it with this tool. All right, down the hatch. Here we go. That sounds better. So that takes care of this implement. Let's move on to something else. If you are one of the people that like to change your oil from the top side of the engine, you can pull your dipstick out of the way and run this tubing all the way down in there. That does me no good with this particular engine, but I have a van with the oil filter on top, so if I could do all the work from the top, I don't have to get under it anymore. So that's a positive. Now when it comes to doing these rear ends, you usually have two options. You can take it apart, let it dump, put a gasket on there and put it back on. I had a truck one time that you couldn't buy gaskets for. You had to dump the rear end, use RTV to make a gasket, then you had to wait 24 hours for it to cure. That kind of sucked. That's a situation that I thought the vacuum made more sense. And now we wait.
One eternity later.
There are some measurements. Might be hard to see on camera, but it's measured in liters. I've almost pulled 3 liters of oil out of that rear differential. The liter is really close to a quart, so I'm just going to think of it as quarts. Now this is just a preference of mine. I really like the squeeze bags because the bottles, you can usually get them to this angle and it's hard to empty out. So with the squeeze, you can roll it up like a tube of toothpaste, get all of your package inside the rear end. Now I'm not going to make you all watch this boring part. Next! I used to lie on the gravel to do work like this, or use big pieces of cardboard, but I really like horse stall mats now. I've been using this same one for a couple of years. If it gets dirty, you can just take it to the water hose, wash it, let it dry in the sun, and it's ready to be used again. Now there's the front differential. It's right next to some steering equipment, and you only can get some fingers in here. This is one of those jobs where it's really not easy to do it right. Disassemble half the truck, then you can get that cover off and do your inspection. But I'm going to put the vacuum in there, pull the oil out, And I'll use a VEVOR bore scope for inspection. But think of how much time and money that can save. There we go. Got the bore scope in there. It doesn't really look too good in the camera. It's a lot better in person. Three cameras on the end of that, so you can switch which view you want to see. And you want to look for uneven wear on these gears. These are looking great. Picture of, you hit the picture button, it'll save to the SD card. You can look at it on the computer in a lot higher resolution. This is in a tricky spot to fill up. So I've got the tube into the fill hole. And we'll fill it up from behind the tire. It's time to do the transmission oil change on this truck. They don't put a drain plug on it, so if you were to take the pan off, you'd get hit in the face with about 8 quarts of oil. So let's use the vacuum to fix that. So right up by this hot exhaust pipe is the fill plug. Once that comes out, I can stick my vacuum hose in. There's a mark right there. It's hard to see. This is 5 liters and we are just at the 4.5 mark. So that's pretty cool. I'll be able to drop that pan now without getting oil in the face. So now that I've got my oil, it's time to pour it out. Easy pour spout. This made those service jobs easy on that truck. So I recommend this. This was a very useful tool. Made my life a whole lot easier. If you want one like this, I'll put links below in the description. If you do purchase through links, it does help the channel out through commission. So that's all I've got for this one. I appreciate you sticking around, and I'll see you all next time.